Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Rashmi Gupta, and I will be dealing with the HR specialization. I will be dealing with the subject Manpower Planning, Recruitment and Selection, which is the paper one or under Human Resource Management specialization. The course code for the subject is 3T1. The unit one under this subject is manpower planning, and the CO corresponding to the subject is students should be able to explain the factors affecting HRP and the HRP process of any organization. So here the main point of focus is that the factors affecting HRP and the HRP process. These are the two important, very important things under this unit as far as the CO is concerned. So let us see the contents of the lecture. The lecture will consist of meaning of HRP, factors affecting manpower planning, need for manpower planning, and advantages of manpower planning. Let us first move to the first slide, that is the meaning of HRP. HRP is a very important process in human resource management. It is the first process by which the HRM functions begin. It is the process of predicting and forecasting the manpower requirement of any organization. Manpower planning is a process which includes forecasting, developing, and controlling by which a firm ensures that it has the right number of people, the right kind of people, appointed at the right place and at the right time, doing the right things. Manpower planning is known by different names like personnel planning or human resource planning. Manpower planning is regarded as the quantitative as well as qualitative measurement of workforce required by an organization at any point in future. Here, quantitative refers to the number of people required in the organization, and qualitative refers to the skill set, qualification, talent of the individual that is required by the organization. So, in short, manpower planning has two approaches, quantitative as well as qualitative approach. Coming on to the concept of HRP, HRP is a process by which management determines how an organization should move from its current manpower position to the desired manpower position. Here, current manpower position refers to the number of employees currently employed in the organization, and the desired manpower position refers to the future number that the organization will be requiring after implementing its strategic plan. So how an organization should move from the current manpower to the desired manpower is referred to as the concept of HRP. Now, HRP planning involves two stages. Firstly, planning of manpower requirement, that is, it helps in predicting the demand. How many people are demanded by an organization at future point of time, and planning of manpower supplies, which refers to how this demand will be fulfilled in terms of supply. So it predicts the demand as well as it also predicts the supply for fulfilling the demand of manpower. Moving on to the characteristic of this particular process. The very first one under this is future oriented. Yes, HRP is a future oriented process because it helps in predicting the quality as well as the quantity of manpower required by an organization at future point of time. So it is prediction and forecast of the future. Second, continuous process. HRP is a continuous process because people join the organization and leave the organization by various means like resignation, termination, transfer, promotion. So such vacant position needs to be fulfilled in the organization. For filling this vacant position, again HRP is required. That is why it is considered as a continuous process. Third characteristic is optimum utilization of human resource. HRP ensures that the manpower required in the organization or employed at any point of time is utilized to the full potential. That is the basic objective or the characteristic of this particular process. Right kinds and right number. HRP ensure that the organization has the correct kind, that is the right kind in terms of talent, qualifications, skill set, knowledge, skills, and abilities, as well as right number of people in the organization at any point of time. Determination of demand and supply. HRP predicts the demand, that is the number of employees needed, as well as it also predicts the supply sources from which this demand will be fulfilled. The last characteristic is HRP is a process which is influenced by various environmental factors. Every business operates in a dynamic environment. So, it has to incorporate these changes in its HRP continuously. For this particular point, we'll be seeing it in the further slide. The explanation will be told in the further slide. Then coming on to the objective, as HRP is a very tedious and important function of human resource management, let us see why it is performed or the basic objectives with which the HRP is conducted. The first is determination of future recruitment and selection need. HRP help an organization in predicting the number and the type of people that will be required for recruitment and selection. Only when HRP is done, recruitment and selection can be initiated. So, once the HRP is conducted, a company can begin its recruitment process. Second is assessment of future skill requirement. HRP also help in predicting the skills, knowledge, talent that will be required by an organization in future. So it help in assessing the future skill requirement. Third is anticipation of surplus staff and avoidance of unnecessary dismissal. HRP help an organization in avoiding uh, overstaffing and understaffing. Both these situations are very alarming for an organization because overstaffing and understaffing can damage the HRM functions of the organization in terms of cost. So, HRP help in avoiding surplus staff as avoidance of unnecessary dismissal. Third, fourth under the point is control of wage and salary cost. As I have already discussed, HRP help in avoiding overstaffing as well as understaffing. So automatically it will help in relating in controlling the wage and salary cost and minimizes the expenses related to wage and salary of an organization. Ensuring optimum utilization of HR presently employed. HRP helps an organization to ensure that it is utilizing its HR presently employed to the full potential. It ensures that all the people are engaged and they are working to their full potential in the organization. Coming on to the need for HRP, why this activity is or the process is conducted. The very first under is this replacement of persons. In an organization, people join and they leave by various process like resignation, termination, dismissal, and VRS and other. So for these things, the organization needs to fulfill the vacancies at an appropriate time. They need to replace the outgoing person at appropriate time. So again, HRP is required for this function. Then labor turnover. Labor turnover means a process when an organization doesn't have work for the employees. In that case, the organization may ask the employees to leave the organization. So again, when the need arises, HRP needs to be conducted in the organization. Expansion plan. When the company is expanding, it may be vertical expansion or horizontal expansion. It requires more workforce in the organization. So again, HRP needs to be conducted to see the number and the kind of people required for meeting the expansion needs of the organization. Fourth under this is technological changes. Whenever any technological changes happen, like in recent example, we can say there are many technological changes related to automation, aviation, artificial intelligence. So when the technological changes happen, a certain skill set is required by the employees, and those employees are great in demand which possess those particular skill set. So again, HRP needs to be conducted as to which of the departments can be automated and can be, or there is any technological changes in the department, accordingly the persons can be employed. Fifth under point under this is assessing need. Some organization conduct HRP just to check whether they have the right number and the right kind of people at any point of time. They are just assessing their department. Every departmental head assess the department to ensure that they are having the right number and kind of people in the organization. So these are the five ways or needs of HRP, or why the HRP is required in an organization. Now, HRP is as I've discussed, it is a quantitative as well as a qualitative approach. It determines the quantity also and the qualitative approach, quality of the manpower also. Now, we are coming towards the variables determining the quantity of human resource. What are the various variables that will determine how many employees are needed in the organization? The first one under this is the population policy. Some population policies operate by influencing the factors responsible for growth, such as fertility, marriage, and mortality. These are known as population influencing policies. Another category of policies known as responsive policies are implemented to adjust the observed population trends with the help of programs like health, nutrition, education, housing, etc. The aim of these population policy is to achieve an optimum population for enhancing the country's development. The second variable, which determines the quantity of manpower required by an organization, is the population structure. The structure or composition of the population is determined by two factors, that is gender composition and age composition. Gender ratio is the ratio of males to females in the population. It is the basic measure of the gender composition of the population of any area. Higher the number of females, higher will be the population growth rate in future. The second one under population structure is age composition. It is the distribution of population by age group. The supply of labor depends on age composition, as economically active population falls in the range of 15 years to 65 years age group. Third point under this is migration. Net migration is another factor which causes changes in the population. Age and gender composition determine the natural growth in population. But for calculating the overall change in the population, it is important to consider net migration also. The last under this is labor force participation. The population of any country consists of workers and non-workers. The workers are the people usually in the age group of 15 to 65 years who participate in economically productive activities by their mental or physical presence. These include employers, employees, self-employed persons, and those engaged in family enterprises without pay. Now, coming to the variables determining the quality of manpower. Now we will be focusing on how the quality of manpower, that is how the organization can employ quality of in terms of skills and talents in their organization. What are the factors that determine it? The first one under this is the education and training. The quality and quantity of education and training received by human resource impacts their knowledge and skill. Education and training are important for the upliftment of both individual and society. It can be of two types, formal and informal. Formal education is imparted through schools, colleges, while informal education and training takes place through on-the-job training methods. Formal education stresses the transfer of theoretical knowledge, while informal education emphasizes on the practical application of knowledge. The second point which determines the quality of manpower available in a country is health and nutrition. Health and nutrition, along with education, are vital for the human resource development. Health and nutrition impacts the quality of life, productivity of labor, and the average life expectancy. The last point which determines the quality of human resource of a country is the equality of opportunity. Not all segments of people comprising human resource get equal opportunities. There is bound to be some discrimination on the basis of social, economical, cultural, and regional basis. Now, we'll move on to the types of manpower. The types of manpower can be distinguished into two categories on the basis of the level at which it is done and on the basis of the period for which it is done. This diagram clearly shows that manpower planning can be done on the basis of level and on the basis of period. On the basis of level, again, HRP can be divided into two categories: macro level, that is national level, and micro level, that is industrial unit level or sectorial level. On the basis of period, manpower planning can be divided into short term period, medium term period, and long term period. Level based manpower planning. Under this, we have two levels: macro level and micro level. Let us see what it means. The micro level or the national level HRP means the plans that are made by the central government relating to human resource for the entire nation. It anticipates the demand as well as the supply of manpower at a national level by the government. Second under this is the micro level. In this level, planning is done to suit manpower needs of a particular industry or a sector. This can be engineering, heavy industries, paper industries, public utility, textile, chemical industries, or any other sector. Period based manpower planning. Under this, first we have short term period. Short term period plans are made for a year of period of 1 year. This type of plans are made as a part of 5 year plans at national level, and it is very useful at a company level. Medium term manpower planning is made for a period of 2 to 5 years, and they are prepared as a financial planning at national level. They also aims for employment opportunity and training and development of employees. The long-term manpower planning are made for 10 to 15 years. These plans estimates the manpower needs of a nation, and such type of plans may be made for educational and training purposes. So these are the three important types of manpower planning in terms of period. Now we are moving towards the factors that affects the manpower planning. The first under this is type and strategy of the organization. The type of organization, that is whether it is a seasonal or a full season organization. Take an example of umbrella and or a raincoat manufacturing company and the textile industry. If we compare both the industry, umbrella manufacturing industry operates only for a short period during rainy season, whereas textile industry operates throughout the year. So yes, on the basis of the product that is produced by the company, the HRP varies. As an umbrella manufacturing industry, it will require HRP through only for a particular season, whereas textile industry will require manpower planning throughout the year. Organizational growth cycles and planning. HRP also varies on the on also varies on the basis of the stage in which the organization is, whether it is an introduction phase, growth stage, maturity phase, or decline phase. In the introduction and decline phase, very few manpower is required. But in the growth and maturity phase, organization requires more manpower because it is growing at this particular stage. So, yes, in which stage the organization is in its growth cycle determines the manpower planning. The third under this is environmental uncertainties. Every business operates in a dynamic environment, and it is affected by political, social, legal, technological environment. We will take the recent example of COVID-19. Due to this pandemic, many organizations have started labor turnover and they are terminating the employees. So in that case, uh, the HRP of the organization is affected. This particular uncertainty was not predicted at the time of making manpower, but because of this pandemic, the every organization has to revamp or revise its manpower planning. So yes, environmental uncertainties, because manpower planning is a prediction, it is a forecast, and future cannot be predicted with utmost certainty. So in that case also, uh, manpower plans are affected. Time horizons, as I have told you earlier, manpower plans are made for three periods: short term, medium term, and long term. So the requirements of these periods will vary, and the manpower plans accordingly will also vary. Labor market. Labor market refers to the supplies of manpower. If in a labor market, certain skill set is scarce, so accordingly, say for example, nowadays there is more of automation and artificial intelligence coming up. So such type of so the employees possessing such skills are great in demand. But imagine a situation if the labor market doesn't have such supply. So accordingly, the manpower will be affected by this particular demand and supply gap. So there isn't a possibility that whatever demanded by the organization are available easily in the market. So labor market is also an important factor that affects the manpower planning. That is all for this lecture today. The reference book under this is Human Resource Management Text and Cases by K. Ashwathapa. And for under this, chapter number 4 is referred. And the second book which can be referred is Essentials of Human Resource Management and Industrial Relations by P. Subbarao. And again, chapter number 4 for the same is referred. Thank you very much for patience listening. We'll catch up again in the next lecture. Thanks once again.